morning, everybody. I decided that today I would make a video touching upon some of the, I would say, rather extreme speculating on the Antichrist. And as a Christian, and a Christian who is a seer, who has been translated and shown who the Antichrist is or what he looks like. And I will explain this a little bit later. I wanted to just speak out a little bit concerning all the very extreme speculating. And I would say also character assassination of King Charles. And yes, I am British. That's not my bias. I have always loved the royal family. The late Queen was like the grandmother that I never really knew. She was known as the praying queen and a devout Christian, went to church every Sunday, spoke very greatly about Jesus Christ and his light in many of her Christmas speeches and referenced him. She had an encounter with Billy Graham, I think in the 80s or 90s, and was very endeared and wanted to know more. That aside, just because his mother, King Charles's mother, was a devout Christian, I've heard a lot of speculation. You can look at the videos. They are all over the internet for months and months, especially since the king's coronation, the crowning of him being a king, and speculation that he has secretly made a pact with Islam, or he has converted to being a Muslim, which I don't believe is true. I'm going to say this. King Charles is definitely, if you wanted to really look into it, has got some viability to be the Antichrist. There's no doubt. He's not a perfect man. He's infallible. He's got a great amount of power. He might have a lot of skeletons in the cupboards. Yes, he is also a long-distance relative to Vlad the Impaler, and which is, in our horror time, is Dracula. However, I would say we need to be cautious as Christians, as believers, in being a clear and honest witness and not speculating, because it looks a bit like madness in some ways to people who are unbelievers. That King Charles has to be respectful. He is the leader of not only Great Britain but the Commonwealth. It is a multicultural society, and as was his mother, the Queen, they are not racist, and they are very respectful to all countries, religions and subjects according to his mandate. He has to show, I guess in a way, some impartiality to many cultures, to keep the lines of communication open, to keep things calm, to not be seen as being biased, even though I have seen talks with King Charles and his faith, and I know he goes to church every Sunday. Now, okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's saved or that he's a true Christian. There are many Christians in church who do not really know Jesus Christ. And just because King Charles is respectful and loving to the Muslims, and he apparently has built some kind of mini mosque in his garden, that might be more to do with his love of art and culture and design. And I think some of the mosques are actually very beautiful. Some of the churches are very beautiful. Some of the Buddhist temples are very beautiful aesthetically. And I can't imagine why, if I had something to do with how something looks, or the layout, or the symmetry of something, that would make me somebody who was Muslim or Antichrist or along those lines. I say this with a little bit of tongue in cheek because I do believe, as a Christian, I personally, and we need to make a stand that is firm for Jesus Christ in our faith, that we shouldn't compromise with other faiths. And we are committed to love all people regardless. How could we win anyone over by constantly being prejudiced and judging and not drawing them through love to Jesus Christ? I would say, looking at most of the current world leaders, I would say many are antichrist and are candidates for being the antichrist. You could take your pick. Without doubt, King Charles is not the antichrist. He may be a big player in the positioning of all to come. I cannot say for sure where his heart is, only God knows. He has, by birth, a great position of power, and he has a lot of things that, if he wanted to really go into it heavily, that tick the box of being antichrist. He has a great love of nature. He did say something a bit untoward in his last speech, which I did find maybe a little bit controversial, in his COP28 talk about the earth doesn't belong to us, but we belong to the earth. And it depends on which way you look at it, because if you read the scriptures, of course, you know, we were given the earth by God, but also the earth does belong to us in a way that we're meant to take care of it, and we're meant to steward it and to cultivate and multiply. So the earth is also something very precious, and knowing King Charles and his love for nature and for being a little bit radical actually in his views of nature and organic living, it doesn't surprise me that he would come out with something like that in a way to make a statement to wake us up that we should take care of the earth more, and that, you know, time is running out. But I can say 100% King Charles is not the Antichrist, and I'll tell you why. Not because of all the what the stars say and all the numerology and all the things that have been done over time that point out to the number of the beast and the man. Yes, there are lots of leaders who actually have similar, but because I had a translation which was a vision where I was literally taken and translated in 2018 in the morning. The sun was just breaking into my bedroom. I was taken by the Lord to an underground facility that looked a bit like a secret cave, but it wasn't. It was much more extravagant, but it was shown as something that was hidden and away from the world, but it was in the Middle East. And I was told in that vision in 2018, I've never forgotten it, I've never forgotten anything I was shown. I was told to look and see. And I saw with my own eyes the son of perdition, who is to be the Antichrist, the one who will rise up as the Antichrist. People will not see him coming. At the time, he was a young man, maybe in his mid-20s, going towards his 30s. And I saw also his own earthly father, who is a leader of a very high Muslim group, and his father was attending to him. This man was kind of blankly, the son of perdition was standing there, and this is how I was shown it. His father was wearing a white Muslim prayer cap with multicolored stripes around the rim of it. But the young man who was very vacant in his stare, actually, I could see why he would be a vessel. He was wearing kind of Western secular clothing. He was not white, he was not King Charles. He was of a Palestinian descent, very big dark brown eyes, dark hair, but his hair was cut quite respectable, like a Western man, not long. But his other features were not far away from what Jesus Christ, as a Jew or somebody in the Middle East, would have when he was alive. All I can say is that he is very active, and he has strong links also to Israel and the Jews, to Hamas, to Palestine, to America, to Europe, and he's befriended the Jews already. He has links to Saudi Arabia and all the Middle East Muslim countries. And there is a bit of controversy because he bounces between sides. And so he's positioned himself, he's been positioned, let's say, by the powers that be. Also, while I was in that facility, I was shown a rock or a stone that was beside him. And beside this man, laid out, was the spear of Longinus, also known as the spear of destiny, the spear that was used by the Roman soldier to pierce Jesus Christ's side as he lay on the cross. I had no idea at that point what I was seeing until later, and it was revealed to me. And then there's a lot of stuff, unfortunately, after researching, that actually Hitler was very into the occult and was very desperate to get his hands on to that spear, the spear of destiny, because it wields somebody great power with it. I don't know if that's true. I don't want to go into all of that. I just want to be open here and share my thoughts, because sometimes we have to speak up. And yes, I haven't given the revelation or the vision I was taken into in 2008 and before now. I have spoken to many people about it. I have it written down, and I know exactly that I have said, oh, there he is. There's one main candidate that I still hold to. I'm not going to speak names right now. If the Lord calls me to do so at the time, I will. But I think as Christians we need to be more balanced and not give a false witness to the world, because there are people who are still looking at what we do, what we say, and when we're constantly speculating between, is the rapture, we're going to be raptured this date and that date, and then things don't happen, and is that person King Charles? That King Charles, is he the Antichrist, or he is the Antichrist, and this leader and that leader, and it goes on, and I think it's a poor witness. It's not right, and it could put people off from coming into truth and coming to Jesus Christ for the right reasons, which is the gospel and the Great Commission of saving people and what Christ Jesus did for us. So I'm putting this out there now, not to judge other brothers and sisters, but to just give what I know, what I saw. And I have no idea why I was shown that at the time, by the way. I was busy with little things in my little ministry, and it happened, and I wasn't busy at all with anything to do with Antichrist. But I've had many translations, many visions, and been shown many specific things which I've written down. And I just trust the Lord and the Holy Spirit that that's for a reason and for an appointed time. And so now today, I had it very strongly last night that it was the time to speak out and put out about the translation I was given. And then there will be more to come on it. Anyway, brothers and sisters, I want to say this in love. Take it or leave it. If people have questions, they can contact me. I completely understand why King Charles could appear as the Antichrist. He definitely has some things there, and he may be a big player in the things to come. There is no doubt some dark skeletons in the closet. However, I'm absolutely 100% certain King Charles is not the Antichrist and the one you're looking for. May God bless you, and I wish you a beautiful and peaceful day.